Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. LakeyshaKeysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. LakeyshaKeysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Stretch words like spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. LakeyshaKeysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. LakeyshaKeysha, say it.
What's up, guys? I wanted to jump on here. So I'm still going live at 4 o'clock. I think I'm gonna push it back to 5. But if you guys, we haven't heard very much about the Karmelo Anthony trial, because the judge entered a gag order that they can no longer talk about it, which I thought was a good idea, because you all know how social media get and how, the racist people just feel like that, this man should spend the rest of his life in jail. But, we don't really know what happened other than what they have told us. But I think that everybody deserves a free trial, not a free trial, but a free trial, but a, non-biased trial. So today is jury selection. If you guys kind of know how that works, in this particular case, they were saying that they wanted people who were not familiar with the case. I mean, maybe they can find some people who's not familiar with the case. If not, good luck with that. So I believe they said this will go on for 3 days. And, we'll see how that works. I believe he's pleading self-defense, which is so crazy because there are so many cases where, white people, if you guys remember that Kyle Rittenhouse, he drove all the way to Wisconsin. This was a 17-year-old at the time, drove to Wisconsin. His mother gave him a rifle and he came there and unalived people. I think he unalived 1 person or 2 people, but in total, I know 3 people were injured. I think 1 person died. I'm not really sure about it, but if you guys see how, it changes when it's a Black person, that boy was found not guilty. And, here's my deal. Boy, you were minding your business. Why did you come to another state and just start, loading off on people? Like, whatever. But he was found not guilty. I thought that was kind of crazy that, you didn't even live in Wisconsin and you came to Wisconsin for smoke with a rifle that your mother purchased for you. I felt like his mama should have been charged, but none of that ever happened. But in this particular case, like I said, they're doing jury selection today. They said for the first 3 days. So maybe by the, the 3rd day, they'll have some form of jury. Now, some people were putting in the chat, and I saw some of the comments. Somebody said, is this Lala's son? No, this does not have anything to do with Lala. And, the name does throw people off because, that is her, I believe that's her ex-husband's name. But for those of you who may have forgotten, let me just play this video for you. Let me just get this going.
We want to go back now to our lead story, which is jury selection beginning in just a few hours in the trial of a North Texas teen accused of stabbing and killing a student athlete.
19-year-old Karmelo Anthony is charged with the murder of Austin Metcalf. Trevor Sohaki is live for us this morning outside the Collin County Courthouse this morning with the very latest on this case. And Trevor, this case has actually captured the national attention, particularly on social media, too.
Yeah, that's right, Carmen. There have been debates online over stand your ground laws, race, and lots of misinformation on social media. In fact, there's been so much tension, threats, and controversy that the judge issued a gag order last year to prevent either side from discussing the case. Now, police say this stabbing happened at a Frisco ISD track meet in April of last year after a verbal confrontation between Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. A witness told police that Anthony came over to Metcalf and others in a tent on the bleachers. The 17-year-olds went to different schools and didn't know each other. Metcalf told him to leave. Then Anthony reached into his bag and said, "Touch me and see what happens." One witness said Metcalf touched Anthony, and another witness said Metcalf grabbed Anthony. Police said that's when Anthony pulled out a knife and stabbed Metcalf once in the chest before running away. Metcalf was taken to the hospital where he later died. Anthony was later arrested and charged with murder. According to a police report, Anthony admitted to the stabbing, claiming it was self-defense. He's currently on house arrest at his parents' home. Now, jury selection will begin at 9 this morning. Collin County District Judge John Roach is not allowing any live streaming of the trial inside the courtroom, but we will have a reporter inside that room at all times. We'll bring the very latest updates as they come in. Live in McKinney, Trevor Sohaki, CBS News, Texas.
And Trevor, it has been a little while before folks have
Now, if you guys were listening to that news briefing, remember they're claiming self-defense. And then they mentioned that, you know, somebody said he touched them and somebody else said he grabbed them. And, you know, that's kind of how trials work. You know, they have people to come on the stand and ask them a bunch of questions. And that's how they, you know, kind of the jury kind of determine what they believe and, you know, what they shouldn't believe. And with that, they have decided to not allow any cameras in the courtroom. Like I said, it's probably the best, you know, with all of this racist rhetoric going around. If it was the other way around, he probably would have never been charged. So, yeah.
Experience this trial, so we want to kind of go back through the timeline of this important case. The stabbing was back on April 2nd of 2015. Karmelo Anthony was arrested that same day. And
no, she didn't say 2015. Girl, 2015. She meant 2025 because it didn't happen 10 years ago. She said 2015. Listen to her.
Karmelo Anthony was arrested that same day, and then he was released from jail on bond less than 2 weeks later on April 14th. Then a few months later, Frisco ISD allowed some members of the media to view the surveillance video of the stabbing under open records law. Well, our investigative producer who viewed the footage said that individuals were difficult to identify, but that the video shows a sudden movement underneath a tent in the bleachers, followed by an interaction between two figures. Several people are then seen walking or running away. More than a month after that, Karmelo Anthony was indicted for murder on June 24th. And then on July 9th of last year, the judge set a trial date, and we've now arrived to that date this morning.
One of the most.
So, interesting though, now that I look at that timeline, they have it looks like they're going to be in jury selection all week. Because it looks like they have the actual start for June 8th, if I saw that correct. I thought that's what they said, June 8th. So, you know, they're going to go through the jury selection, ask a whole bunch of questions. Like, are you familiar with the trial? I know they'll ask them that. A whole bunch of other questions to see, are they fit to be able to be on this trial? And, you know, obviously see if they have any biases and things as it relates to that. Now, let me kind of, I'm going to refresh y'all memory because, you know, we forget stuff. I'm going to show you something. I actually forgot the kid's name, but his name was Kyle Rittenhouse was his name. I want to bring this up because Kyle Rittenhouse was 17 years old. Now, I believe at the time that this happened, Karmelo could have been 18 because I know he recently, or so turned 19, so about the same age. Now, in August 25th, 2020, Kyle Rittenhouse was a 17-year-old kid. He lived in Illinois. This man shot and killed. Oh, he killed 2 people. Did y'all hear this? He killed 2 people. I thought it was one person. This boy traveled from his place where he lived in Illinois, drove his rusty ass all the way to Kenosha, Wisconsin, which is at least an hour away. And he killed 2 men and wounded another. So he didn't kill one person. He did it to 2 people, unalived 2 people, and wounded another. Now, if you guys recall, this was during the unrest, protest, civil unrest, whatever you want to call it. And this guy pretty much stated that he went to Wisconsin to help, as if he was the police. I mean, why would you go to Wisconsin to help? And then, at 17 years old, he can't even carry a weapon. Now, this boy was armed with a AR-15, okay? You see this picture right here. Can you guys see it? This is him. This is what this boy was armed with. Unalived 2 people at 17 years old. 17 years old. Wait a minute. All right, y'all. Sorry about that. So, yeah, this guy traveled to Wisconsin, and then unalived 2 people. Now, it looks like they say he joined another group of armed people in Kenosha, and he was claiming to protect businesses, which just doesn't even make sense. Boy, you didn't even live there. You had no right to be there. You are a 17-year-old. We don't need you to protect anything. Now, they say Joseph Rosenbaum was a 36-year-old unarmed, he was unarmed, Kenosha man. This man was unarmed. It says he ran at Rittenhouse and grabbed the barrel. So basically, what this article is saying, that this kid was standing there with probably his, rifle pointed at him, and said this guy ran toward him and grabbed the barrel of his rifle. It says after throwing a plastic shopping bag of clothing at him. A plastic shopping bag of clothing, that's not gonna hurt you. Now, this kid this man 4 times, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, at close range. Close range. So I would imagine he grabbed the barrel of, his barrel, and he may have, just let off 4 times, unaliving a man. A crowd formed and Rittenhouse quickly fled the scene. So he didn't even stay for the police. He left, ran off. Anthony Huber was a 26-year-old resident of Silver Lake. He was struck by Rittenhouse in the head with a skateboard. Wait a minute. Anthony Huber, a 26-year-old of Silver Lake. I'm sorry. It says this Anthony Huber struck Rittenhouse in the head with a skateboard and attempted to wrestle his rifle away. So it looks like this guy tried to take the rifle away from him, but in all honesty, he wasn't legal to have one. It says Rittenhouse him once, unaliving him. Do y'all see this mess? This boy Rittenhouse, he pretty much walked away from this. So he unalived 2 people. One, he shot 4 times. The other one, 4 times at close range. And then the other one, it looks like he shot him once. Now, there was another person, Gage Paul, was a 26-year-old. One second. All right, guys. So where was I? Now, the other person was named Paul. He was a 26-year-old West Allis man who pointed a handgun at Rittenhouse, and he was shot, looks like, in his arm, but he survived. So a total of 3 people. Now, the prosecutors charged him with 2 counts of homicide, obviously, unaliving somebody, and 1 count of attempted, unaliving, 2 counts of reckless endangerment, 1 count of unlawful possession of a firearm, and 1 count of curfew violation. His trial lasted from November 1st through the 19th. Prosecutors sought to show Rittenhouse as a criminal gunman, while defense lawyers argued that Rittenhouse had acted in self-defense. Now, keep in mind, they raised a whole lot of money for this kid. That's what they do. But ultimately, we know what happened. So they tried to basically get this guy indicted. He claimed self-defense, asserting that his attackers were part of a mob that attacked him in the street like an animal, and that he used force necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm to himself. Now, keep in mind, he left where he lived, came over there with a rifle. He's 17. He can't even have a rifle, but just want to show y'all the different scenario here. Now, y'all gonna hear a little bit of noise because my daughter is vacuuming up some mess that the dog made. That's why I put y'all on hold. All right, so ultimately, y'all, he was found not guilty. He was found not guilty. Just wanted to kind of bring that to y'all attention, okay, as we talk about this Karmelo Anthony case. Now, let's see what they're saying, because they're not allowing anybody in the court, I have to check for the update. So let's see what they're saying. Just give me a second. Let's see what they're saying. Just got to check and see what they're saying here. All right, let me stop sharing and let me check. Go ahead and put them in the chat while I check for the updates here. That's the only part of when they don't allow the cameras. We got to just rely on what information they put out when they update it. Let's see. So it is 11 o'clock here. So it's about 10 o'clock in Dallas. It's almost 11. So we don't have anything yet. It's still early. So let's see what they're saying, if anything. Let's see here. Fox News. All right, guys, just give me a second. All right, let me share this one with you all. Just give me a second.
There's a lot of concerns when it comes to jury selection and something that's high profile. You've always got your high profile concerns about, has anybody developed opinions about this, or what are people's thoughts? This case in particular has a lot of disturbing history when it comes to misinformation online, rumors, doxing, things like that. One of the previous judges had to get the FBI involved because of threats to her. Have people already heard of this case? Have they already formed opinions? Collin County is a bigger place. I think we have close to 1 million residents. So I do think we'll be able to seat a jury, but it is going to take a little bit of work. Once they seat a jury, that's going to be a lot of work. I would anticipate that's going to be multiple days. But I think the most important part of really any kind of trial are going to be opening statements. Studies show that 80% of jurors formulate their opinions of the overall case during opening statement, and they do not change their mind for the entirety of the trial after that. So opening statement is going to be really critical. In jury selection, is going to be a couple days. You can't win a case in jury selection, but you can lose a case by putting people on the panel who don't need to be there. And really, I think all the marbles are on the table when it comes to opening statements. Murder cases really fit into multiple categories. And this one certainly fits into one that you would really sort of think about whether or not this is self-defense. That's going to be, I think, the central issue. And another central issue is going to be, is it manslaughter or is it homicide? You get a lot of different types of murder cases. You get Luigi Mangione, where the issue is this premeditated? And if so, how premeditated is it? How far does the planning go back? Is somebody trying to scheme for something bigger, like an insurance policy or something like that? I don't think anybody thinks for a minute that this case fits into those categories, but that doesn't make a difference really to the victim's family. They lost their son. So the issues in this case are going to be more about the events as they happened that day. Everything really in the immediacy of those few hours are really, really going to be crucial, where, as again, compared to Tyler Robinson or Luigi Mangione, you're really looking at a longer history of leading up to that event. So I think you're going to see a lot of localized focus on the people who are there, on the hours that really surrounded that one incident. Self-defense is a really intricate defense that you have to sort of set up. It is what's called confession and avoidance. What that means is that you have to admit to the conduct in order to get that defense. The crux of the issue is that you cannot provoke the harm and then retreat behind self-defense. So really what you're going to see the central issue be is, was Karmelo Anthony, did he initially provoke that harm?
That's crazy that he said that, because I just read you guys that information from the Kyle Rittenhouse. I mean, this guy, Kyle Rittenhouse, he didn't live in Wisconsin. He lived in Illinois. He traveled about an hour, it could have even been longer, to get himself in a situation where he claimed self-defense. He was a 17-year-old that did not have, I mean, he's 17. He cannot carry a firearm. He drove, or wait a minute, his mother took him, which is even worse, to a situation where he unalived two people and got off on self-defense. Now, when he says you can't put yourself in it, I guess it depends on who the jury is, because Kyle Rittenhouse put himself in a situation that he should not be in. Now, if they're claiming that he put himself in a situation because he sat in the wrong space, to my understanding, that is not putting yourself in any type of situation. If I sit in the wrong seat, so that means that you can attack me because I'm sitting in the wrong seat. So I really believe it's going to depend on whatever the jury thinks, because I would have never thought that Kyle Rittenhouse would have gotten off for unaliving two people and then injuring another person under self-defense. You're not even supposed to have a weapon. And then the people that you unalived didn't even have a weapon. So how do you I thought force was supposed to be a situation that you meet the same type of force, but how are you pulling a big rifle pum somebody 4 times, not one. You know, if you're so afraid and you use that type of force, why did you have to do it 4 times? Generally, if you do it once, that's enough to stop the person. This dude, white boy, did it 4 times to one person, shot somebody 4 times and got off. So I disagree. And I'm not a lawyer or anything, but I feel like it's going to depend on whatever the jury thinks.
Did he initially elevate that and then it was in a situation to defend himself? Because if that's the situation, then he might not necessarily be entitled to a self-defense instruction from the judge. So again, you're going to hear some different accounts of who said what, who was standing where, and who did what.
I don't care what. It just seems like certain people to me will always think that they're better than Black people, because I don't agree with that. I feel like it's going to depend on whatever the jury thinks, because if Kyle Rittenhouse brought his mama being an alcoholic, which they had already said that his mama was an alcoholic, his mammy, definitely a mammy, brings this boy to Wisconsin and she was never charged. Why wasn't his mammy charged? So I don't know. I'm hearing racial undertones already.
But ultimately, it's going to be a very, very intricate question to see whether or not the judge in this case issues that self-defense instruction to the jury. And again, it's going to turn on, did Karmelo Anthony initially provoke the harm? Did he initially elevate the tenseness? Or
I don't know how you can elevate the what do you say, a tenseness, because you keep your MF hands to yourself. The thing that people need to understand is you can't put your hands on people because you never know how they're going to respond. And they said that boy was I don't know, a wrestler. I don't know, but keep your hands to yourself. Teach your kids to keep their hands to themselves. Some people think they can put their hands on folks and think that they can get away with it. So I don't know how anybody is responsible for somebody putting their hands on them. So, you know, again, these folks, some people still think in 2026, and we done had a Black president, we done had all sorts of, you know, Black people in leadership all over the world. These MFers in their mind still think that they better than Black people, because how do you elevate somebody putting their hands on you? How? That's your choice.
Or the threat in the situation. And then was he retreating back into self-defense, or did the victim provoke it? And if so, then it's a more of an issue when it comes to self-defense.
Well, I just hope that he gets a fair trial. Okay. I really hope that Karmelo Anthony gets a fair trial, because there were a lot of things that was going on. And I'm glad that the judge did this no contact order, guys. And that's partially why we have not heard anything about this case. You know, his family's address was doxed. They were sending his family all sorts of things. So it's been really hard for this family. And like I said, had he been white, okay, pale, it will be a whole nother type of situation. And it makes you wonder, though, when the parents, now I can't say I understand, but I can imagine that it must be devastating, right? To lose your child, but to, you know, attack the parents as if the parents wasn't there. Like they didn't want it to happen either. You think they want their son to be in jail? Like they don't. I'm sure the parents, this is not what they would have wanted their son to do. But when you think about how the parents reacted, you can almost think about where that kid got this. It seems like entitlement behavior, because it almost seems very far-fetched for somebody to use deadly force against you if they didn't think, or you did something to make them think that they had to defend themselves. This kid ain't never been to jail. His grades were so good that after he was I think he was expelled from school or something, his grades were so good that he had missed, school, and he still passed. So I think there is a lot that we just don't know. Somebody, T.R. Payne said, 617 said, don't think he will get a fair trial. I'm really hoping that he does. Our history has shown just that. That is what our history has shown, exactly what you put in the chat. It seemed like, it's very hard for Black people to get a fair trial, even when they didn't do shit. Okay. Now I'm not saying, I'm a Diddy supporter, but at the end of the day, they charged that man with something he did not do. I mean, you cannot charge somebody with something that they didn't do just because you don't like them. So if Diddy didn't have a bunch of money, he will be in jail for the rest of his life. So, history has shown, our history has shown that we do not get a fair trial. But I'm hoping that, this lawyer, that they're able to get those people out that's extremely biased. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's really about what's right and wrong. But at the end of the day, too, when we talk about self-defense, it's what you felt like. What may scare me may not scare the next person. So we are all different. So it's about what he felt. It's just hard for me to believe that this kid, after seeing, his parents and stuff, you can kind of speculate as to what type of mannerisms he has. And then when you see how I'm not saying his parents, but how the parents of the deceased, how they acted, you can almost wonder like, okay, that's probably where he got it from. Because again, I'm not trying to take away, their pain or anything that, they have went through with with their son passing away. But some of the things that were being done to these people were just absolutely just to the 10th degree. And it was screaming racism. Okay. That's what it was screaming. So I really hope and pray that he get a fair trial. And I think, that was the judge's aim when he restricted the cameras, because normally, this is like a state trial. So, the cameras are allowed inside. However, the judge has the liberty at saying, that they're not going to have no camera. So that is what the judge decided to do. I'm just looking on here, guys, to see what else has come out. Let's see here. Let me check something else. Because what they're doing is they're allowing, people to come in. You can take notes. Another thing, too, I've been told, I don't think you can leave. You probably can leave and go to the bathroom, but I don't know if you can leave and leave the actual courtroom and return is what I'm hearing. You probably can't even do that either. So let's see what they're saying. Let's see here. All right, guys, let's see. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. I don't really see any updates. You said, oh, that's the same when you say you don't think he'll get a fair trial. Okay. I'm just looking to see, guys, have they updated anything? Because like I said, they're not showing anything online as of yet. Let's see here.
One of the most high-profile murder trials North Texas has seen in years begins tomorrow in Collin County. 18-year-old Karmelo Anthony faces a first-degree murder charge connected to the April 2025 stabbing death of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a high school track meet in Frisco. Jury selection is set to start first thing tomorrow morning. Tonight, a look back at the case, the fallout, and the legal fight ahead. It was the kind of story that moved fast, first through Frisco, across North Texas, then nationally.
It took my soul too. I'm so sorry.
A fight under a team tent, a knife, and a 17-year-old student athlete who died in his twin brother's arms.
He was going to turn out to be a great individual.
Austin Metcalf was a student at Frisco's Memorial High School. Police say he was stabbed on April 2nd, 2025, during a district track meet at Kuykendall Stadium. Investigators say Karmelo Anthony, then also 17, was sitting under a tent for a school he did not attend. According to eyewitnesses, Metcalf told him to leave. What happened next will be at the center of this murder trial. Police say Anthony fatally stabbed Metcalf once in the chest. His father, Jeff, expressing his disbelief to Fox 4.
I told him it's not goodbye. It's see you later.
Online, the case exploded. Rumors raced ahead of facts. From jail, Karmelo Anthony claimed self-defense and was held on a $1 million bond. But 12 days after the crime, he was released on house arrest after a judge reduced his bail to $250,000, in part because of his clean record. 3 days later, a press conference was called on his parents' behalf. They begged the public to turn down the temperature.
I don't know why we're being targeted and discriminated against before a fair trial.
Though the heat would only rise after Austin Metcalf's father showed up to a press conference and was escorted out by Dallas police for not having an invitation. Now, after months of relative quiet, the arguments move from online debate to a Collin County courtroom. Jury selection begins Monday and is expected to last 3 days. Former Dallas County Assistant DA Russell Wilson is not connected to the case, but says finding jurors who have not heard about it or have not formed opinions will be a challenge.
I actually believe you can certainly get somebody who believes that they are unbiased, but whether or not they actually are, you don't necessarily know until the actual case starts unfolding.
The defense is expected to lean hard into self-defense. In Texas, that shifts the burden to the state.
If self-defense is an issue in the case, the state has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it was not self-defense.
For prosecutors, it may all likely come down to the sequence of events under that tent.
They've got to come in and show, in essence, that the conduct that occurred prior to this incident did not warrant the amount of force that was used.
Strict rules are in place. No cameras inside the courtroom. There's also discussion about limiting other electronic devices, all to preserve order and keep the case from turning into a courthouse spectacle.
For the lawyer's perspective, part of it is to try to shut out the noise.
Noise in the court of public opinion about to shift to a real court. So Fox 4 will bring you extensive coverage of the Anthony trial. You can keep up with the latest court developments on Fox.
All right, guys. So there is some other stuff. Let's see. Clearly, he was not a threat to the greater community. He should have been allowed out on bail. It was an act of self-defense. Love and possibilities. He was out on bail, so he's not in jail. He's been out on bail since he was in jail for 2 weeks. So he definitely is out on bail. He's been out on bail. So yeah, he's definitely free. But I want to share some other things with y'all because some people have posted different videos. They're saying that the security is pretty high there. They got the dogs out.
For the Day one, Collin County Courthouse. Day one of the Karmelo Anthony trial. Line is already full.
It says the Karmelo Anthony trial, the line has started at 6 a.m. 6 a.m., guys. They was out there at 6 a.m.
I ain't gonna lose my spot. Huh? I think
So it looks like they can't even bring their phones in there. So they want to make sure that nobody is recording or anything. You can't even bring your phone in there.
oh yeah, they came all the way from California for the trial. I'm doing a video saying they came from California. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Me, hot, and then her. We're all here waiting for the doors to open. There we go. Yeah.
No. It says no electronic devices will be permitted in the Anthony trial. So I guess if you showed up with your phone, hopefully they have a locker that you can put it in, because that's going to be messed up. Especially if y'all think about it, some people may have to catch like a lift or something down there. So I hope they had a place for those people to put their phones.
Electronic devices will be permitted in the Anthony trial.
So that's very interesting. So I'm wondering if they're going to, don't even seem like they have a lockup area, because I mean, if I had to take a lift down there, you know, where some people have caught, you know, a lift and different things like that, then what the hell, what are you supposed to do with your phone? Good luck to them, huh? If they go all the way down there, because they cannot bring their phone into the courthouse. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I'm going to share another video with you all. Now, this, I don't know if this is true, but let's kind of watch. Let's see what this guy is saying. This is allegedly the judge. Let's look up the judge. John Roach Jr. Lord have mercy. His name is John Roach. Oh boy, let's see. Let's see what the judge looks like, because I don't know who this guy is. Yep, that's him.
This your boy Gerald with the NC Beat, reporting from Collin County, Texas, at the Karmelo Anthony murder trial. If Karmelo Anthony is found guilty at the end of his murder trial that starts tomorrow, June 1st, this judge, Republican judge, Judge John Roach Jr., could possibly throw the book at Karmelo. And he's running a tight ship in his courtroom. Many of you have asked, is it going to be live streamed? Is it going to be recorded? Is it going to be filmed? Is it going to be this and that? The answer is no. Hell no to the no, no, no. And the worst part about it is that no black media were selected to even go inside of the courtroom for the trial. And because of that, I personally don't believe that Karmelo Anthony will get the correct coverage that he deserved. At first,
now, listen, let me just jump in there. So we don't know if what this guy is saying is true. He says no black media. Let's just listen to what he's saying, but we're not going to, because we have not fact checked any of this. So I don't know if what he's saying is actually true.
After the judge put in his order that there will only be 9 media outlets allowed inside, people from all over the world.
Let me kind of make sure you guys understand. I just know this because now, you know, that I'll be doing this blogging job. I know a little bit about what happens. Generally, when you request to film inside of a courtroom, especially with a trial as big as this one, they want to select like a Fox News or something like that, because what tends to happen is they only want so many news outlets to do it. They prefer the bigger news outlets because essentially, well, in this case is a little different because they're not even filming. So really what he's saying is really irrelevant, because if it was a situation where the judge allowed, let's say the judge said 6 media outlets can film, the way that that works is, although the judge would allow 6 different people to film, they actually have to give you a copy if you wanted a copy, because essentially everybody can't film. But in this case, because the judge said nobody can film, what he's saying is irrelevant. And that's why I'm saying we can't really believe everything these people say, because essentially nobody was able to film. So when he talk about black media, he's literally not being honest, because this has nothing to do with black media. You could have showed up at that court. I could have showed up at the court. The judge said no filming. Now, generally, as I said before, they will say, we're going to allow, they can say 1, they can say 2 to film. So essentially what that means is they have to share their work with anybody who asks for it, is essentially how it works. But in this case, because there's nobody that can film, what he's saying is simply just not true.
Independent journalists, YouTubers, legacy media, everyone applied to get a press pass inside of this courtroom. And if we didn't.
So again, this is why you got to take what these people say with a grain of salt. What does a press pass mean in this case? Because you still cannot film. You would come in there and take notes just like everybody else. I'm not understanding why you would need a press pass when you still can't film. Even the press that's there has to take notes. Nobody is filming. You see what I'm saying? He just, yeah.
Get inside of the main courtroom, there was an option that we can go to an overflow room. On May 20th, out of everybody who applied, hell, I was shocked to even see that court TV wasn't up there. So the first PIO was.
Okay, remember when I said that generally, if they allow a few select, generally it's the biggest one. So obviously they're going to choose everybody. Every news media. That's for Dallas. I think it's like CBS News. Why wouldn't they select their Dallas local stations? That's going to be the number one, entities that they're going to select. So this isn't uncommon. So you think they're going to select some kind of news media out of Atlanta? No, they're going to give their, Dallas, whatever areas that's close to, that's who they're going to pick. So what he's saying is these are, the larger medias that they pick, which that is what they generally do. So nothing to be surprised about.
Eric Jackson, that's who we filled out our press credential application for. Then on May 20th, all of a sudden this new person comes along named Stephen Toller. And I'm like, is this even legit? Because he was having a Gmail account. I'm like, who works for the government and got a Gmail account? What kind of rinky-dink shit? What is this going on? Then he switched up and got a government email address, but we'll talk about that later. As you can see right here, it says, as you know, courtroom space is extremely limited. As a result, the judge has allocated access to 9 members of the media. That said, many of you who applied for access were not approved. We gave priority to, quote, legacy media outlets who cover Collin County and our courts on a regular basis.
Did you hear what he said? That covers Collin County on a regular basis. That would make sense. They don't want somebody coming from another state. Come on now. They want people who are familiar with the area. Now, if it was a free for all and you could just film, they wouldn't care who recorded, but because they wanted people who are familiar, which it makes more sense, because if you're not really familiar with this area, they don't want you, to have a pass. But again, in this case, a pass don't really mean a whole lot because you can't film anyways.
Check this out. The following organizations are approved for trial coverage. Those of you who were not approved for media access do have the ability to watch the trial as a member of the general public. These are the media outlets: the Associated Press, KDFW-TV, KSAS, WFAA, KTVT, Dallas Morning News, Community Impact, the Daily Mail, Sketch Artists, which are all white-owned media outlets. And do you?
So again, I understand what he's saying, but he's really not saying a lot, because when you say white owned, is there a black owned that would be in this particular area where they can actually be able to film? And that's the question. He has KDFW TV, KXAS TV, WFAA TV, KTV TV, and Dallas Morning News, Community Impact, the Daily Mail, and Sketch Artists, which is somebody who's going to sit in there and sketch out, everything that's going on. So I hear what he's saying, but again, they're going to give it to whoever the legacy media is that's covering that area. They're not going to basically give it to a YouTuber that's probably in a whole nother state. So I hear what he's saying, but it has to make sense, and what he's saying don't really make sense.
Really think that this black boy is about to get some fair coverage? Hell no. Black independent journalists and other journalists and bloggers and YouTubers who are not black, that did not get inside of the trial, they still have to get in line, and it has to be the first come, first serve. And I want to know, how is this going to work without somebody throwing bowls? I'm just trying to understand, why do they have the media going in with the public? I mean, that's going to cause a problem, because you have independent media who are here, and
they did the same. They do the same thing at every trial. So he's acting like because you are a YouTuber or a blogger or whatever, you get to get some preferential treatment. You do not. You can go and you can watch it as anybody. This is the same thing here in Atlanta. If I were to film something, they will give me a pass and I can come in. In some instances, they say you can't film, but you can come in. They may say, okay, we'll give you a pass. In other cases, they may say, well, we're not giving out passes. You're free to come in. You're free to watch. You're free to take notes. This is no different. No different. No different than anybody else. You said the question is, will the reporters be black? Well, I don't know. I'm not familiar with Collin. So if there's black reporters that work for Collin, I mean, I think, I think, what do you mean, will the reporters be black? Are you asking me, will they be black? Do you actually think they're going to say, hey, you're black, go and report on this? There will be no news inside of the court. So I don't know how else to say that. So when you say, will the reporters be black? What reporters? There's no cameras inside the courtroom. So I'm a little bit confused. No cameras inside of the courtroom, which means there's nobody filming in the courtroom. He gave a list of approved media. I guess the question is, are they black? I have no idea who would work for these different companies. I would assume, there are some black people work, I mean, think about it. We have Dallas Morning News. I mean, Dallas, there's black people in Dallas. I can't tell you who will be reporting on the story. Keep in mind, again, there's no camera, so they'll just be talking about what they heard anyway, because there's no cameras.
You have legacy media also who did not get selected that's going to try to get in. It's just about to be a big ass mess. The courtroom shall open each day of trial at 8:30 a.m. Entry shall be permitted beginning at 8:30 a.m. for members of the media, at 8:40 a.m. for designated family members, and at 8:50 for members of the general public. No more than 9 members of the media shall be permitted in the courtroom at one time. Seating shall be on a space available basis. The courtroom doors shall close promptly at 9 a.m. and individuals arriving after that time shall not be admitted until a recess. Once admitted into the courtroom, no person shall leave and re-enter during proceedings except during.
So remember I said that they cannot leave. So it's not a situation where you can just be like, okay, let me run out. If you guys remember, I don't know if you followed the Diddy trial, but during the Diddy trial, you would have bloggers that would go in and hear stuff and they would come out No, you're not getting ready to come out. You're only going to leave if they have a recess. So that's, you can leave probably for lunch. Obviously, they're going to break for lunch and whatever other recess they have. Otherwise, you can't leave.
Your recess. So that means if you got to pee or doo-doo, you got to hold it. Now check this out. As you can see, no cell phones or other electronic devices will be permitted into the courtroom. So I'll keep you guys updated on what's going on here in Collin County, Texas at this trial. Make sure you turn on your notifications.
So you guys heard that. So this is going to be a rough one in terms of covering this, because they are going to be in court all day. So nobody can come out and tell you what's going on. So if somebody try to come on here and say, I was just in court, just know that they're lying, because nobody is going to be able to come out and tell you what's going on in court, because they won't be able to. Let's see what this video here is talking about. So I hope I answered your question. I won't be able to tell you the color of the reporters because I have no idea.
This Karmelo Anthony case, which jury selection starts tomorrow on the 1st, it's not going to play out like these Karmelo supporters thinks it is. Okay? I mean, the evidence has been described as over.
Listen to this idiot. How he says it's not going to play out like these Karmelo Anthony supporters. He looked like a white supremacist. Because, man, how do you know what the evidence is? You haven't saw the evidence. You don't know. Nobody knows. So y'all see how these people are? These people, I'm talking about one group of people. These people.
Overwhelming. All right. Just the evidence that we know about, the fact that he was hurt.
What evidence do we know about? You see how these lies? This is why the judge does not. You can't film the attorneys, the prosecuting attorneys, or his attorney can't speak about it. And this is why. You see how these people get on here and lie? What overwhelming evidence? I haven't saw any evidence. I'm just going by what they say online. We don't know what happened. Okay.
Provoking by many, many witnesses. Okay. They took down like over 30 plus witness statements. None of the witnesses mentioned bullying. None of the witnesses.
He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. You see, we don't know what these people witnessed, and we ain't talked to them. So he's just making up shit.
Mentioned they attacked Karmelo, had him surrounded. None of that. Okay. It's just not factual. It didn't happen. All right. The whole Karmelo had permission to be there by the coach. That's all hearsay. We don't even know if that's true.
And I wish they would. Maybe his attorneys will do something so that they can stop bringing this up. Because even if a person sat in the wrong spot, it doesn't matter. Like, that's not a reason to attack anybody because they sit in the wrong spot. I mean, I've been to games and I've sat on the wrong side. I've sat on the right side. Never have anybody put their hands on me. So I wish they would stop mentioning he was in the wrong spot.
Okay. But bottom line, just going off the evidence that we know about, right? You can't provoke and claim self-defense.
We don't know that he provoked. I mean, we know, Kyle Rittenhouse definitely provoked, and he actually claimed self-defense and won. I don't know if he provoked. So I don't know what you call provoking. Sitting in a spot is not provoking. I mean, trying to remove somebody out of a spot is provoking.
That right there alone is going to be very hard to beat, okay? Not to mention, why do you have a weapon at a track meet in the first place, okay?
And so another thing, he's spreading misinformation. What he had wasn't, like a knife. It was something that they used for whatever their sport was, but obviously he used it as a weapon, but it wasn't like a weapon. It was something like, let's just say I had a pen and I stuck somebody with it. Is the pen a weapon? No, it's a pen, but can it be used for harm? It could.
And they look into his history, okay? Yeah, he's never caught a criminal charge before, but there again, he'd already been in trouble at school for what?
Look at him lying. He's lying. I mean, you are lying, spreading misinformation. Now, do you guys see why they're not allowing people to film in court? Because what tends to happen is you get juries, and then this information is put out as if it's correct information. So you say he was never arrested or he was never in trouble, but then you say he was, which is, this is all lies. Right. This dude is just making up stuff. Exactly. Why are you trying to remove a person from a seat? Exactly. It's not your job to police people. Exactly. My point. If somebody is sitting somewhere that you think they don't belong, let them teachers do their job. Why would you be trying to put your hands and remove somebody? I ain't doing it. And I don't teach my kids to do that. Keep your hands to yourself. You don't, and I mean, you guys got to think about it like this. I mean, and I feel sad that, you know, his son is no longer here, but what type of person, if you even just put yourself in the mind to when you were in high school, the people that would try to physically remove people, we classified them as bullies. I mean, I can't think of a situation where anybody would physically try to remove someone unless they were a bully. Like, I just don't remember those instances. Obviously, there's instances where, you know, you consider this one person a bully or this person over here a bully. But when you are physically going to force a person to do something because you feel like they're in the wrong spot, that's a bully situation. So I don't understand why we're seeming to get away from removing a 17-year-old. Like, come on now. This is not what happens. Okay, Deborah says, I wish they would have moved the trial to a different state. This is a very racist town. I do not see this man getting a fair trial. He probably will get some time, and if so, it will be unfair. Well, we will see, because what they're doing now is they're doing jury selection. So with the jury selection, they're going to ask a bunch of different questions. So essentially, it's called a change of venue, if I'm correct. So generally, a change of venue happens when they feel like they cannot get a fair trial. That's generally very expensive. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Generally, states don't like to do a change of venue, but we'll see how this jury selection goes. Exactly. It was raining and Melo sat there to get out of the rain. That's what I heard. The bully didn't care. He just wanted him to leave. I've heard that. Like, but sitting in a seat, why? Again, I only know of people physically in high school putting their hands on somebody or moving somebody out of a seat because they were a bully. Regular people don't do that. I've never heard of that. So essentially, whoever this kid was, he thought that for some reason he needed to protect himself. And it had to be something that goes with this kid's personality. And again, sad that he's not here, but just following how his father showed up at an event that he wasn't even invited to, it kind of goes to show what type of people these are. Like, these are not like good people. Like, when you look at Melo's mother and father, you don't get the sense that they are terrible people. But when I look at this Metcalf kid, I'm like, okay, I see where he got it from. I kind of see where you got that kind of behavior from.
Bringing a weapon. See the pattern? They gave him a slap on the wrist, said, don't do that again. 2 to 4 weeks later,
So he's spreading lies and misinformation. When I get done watching his video, I'm flagging it.
catches a murder case at where? A school function, a track meet. So he learned nothing by bringing a weapon to school.
This is partially why I decided to do a live and talk about it, because one thing these racist people gonna do is use their platform to further pump racism. Where in the hell did it say that this boy had a weapon before? Where? He just making up shit. Just making up fucking lies. Nobody heard that but the people in his head.
School. I've even heard through the grapevine he's connected.
He's even heard through the grapevine. You can't make this shit up. He heard through the grapevine.
To some gangs. He was throwing up gang signs.
Y'all, you hear this shit. He heard through the grapevine. This lying MF. When I get done, I'm going to report his video. He's just lying. Let me see if I can report it now.
And shit. Y'all, this case is...
I'm going to report his ass now. Misinformation, just lying. Harmful misinformation. Wait a minute, it took the video. Okay.
Karmelo is in serious trouble. And the fact that it happened in Frisco and Collin County, and that is considered one of the safest cities in the entire country, if
one of the safest cities in the entire country. I don't know, sir. Maybe, it's a place that racists feel safe. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the place.
Not the safest. Like it bounces from the number 1 slot to 2 and 3 and back to 1. So it could be considered one of the safest cities in the entire USA. Okay, kids don't need weapons at track meets. All these thugs, there
go to racism. All these thugs. We don't know who the thug was. The thug could have been those twin boys, because I don't see, and I don't know Karmelo's family, but yeah, we don't get to say when a person feels like they need to be protected. Now, what I may do if I feel like I need to be protected would not be what somebody else would do. I feel like something happened that he felt like he need to protect himself. Exactly. Them thugs was them twins. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I don't feel like that he did this. And also too, I don't think he had the intentions of unaliving somebody. I think he had the intention of stopping whatever was happening to him. I mean, I was just having this conversation with my son. I said, look, we have to make the best decisions, because one decision could be our last decision. So I don't believe when he did what he did, he thought that it was going to unalive the boy. Like, we don't, you know what I mean? You don't know, exactly when you do something, what the lasting effect is going to be. So I don't think he intended to do that. It just, unfortunately it happened. Deborah said, this young man, Anthony, was a good student. He had no record, never had been in trouble. Exactly. This is a very racist town, and they are making up lies. Exactly. I know his grades were so good, Deborah, that after it happened, he hadn't been to school, I think, in a month or so. Like his grades were so good. I think he had like maybe A+, like top tier grades. So even with him missing school, he still passed and everything. So he definitely, was a good kid, good student. If he had all of these lies like this man is saying, he would still be in custody.
That all they do is take you back to slavery, white supremacy, and
because I'm about to be messy, but it got to be said.
Wait a minute, y'all. He just took me out.
This Karmelo, one of the safest cities in the entire country, if not the safest. Like it bounces from the number 1 slot to 2 and 3 and back to 1. So it could be considered one of the safest cities in the entire USA. Okay, you don't need, kids don't need weapons at track meets. All these thugs, they, you know, that all they do is take you back to slavery, white supremacy, and the Klan, and it's fucking stupid. All right, white people are fucking sick of it. We're tired of hearing it.
I did not tell y'all this man was a racist. White people are sick of it. We're tired of hearing about it. What are you tired of hearing about? This is an ignorant person. White people are tired of hearing about. I'm gonna have to rewind that. I'm confused.
Thugs, if not the safest, like it bounces from the #1 slot to 2 and 3 and back to 1, so it could be considered one of the safest cities in the entire USA. Okay, you don't need, kids don't need weapons at track meets. All these thugs, they, you know, that all they do is take you back to slavery, white supremacy, and the Klan, and it's fucking stupid. All right, white people are fucking sick of it. We're tired of hearing it. It doesn't exist. All you're doing is making his case worse. And we know they're all full of shit, because the day after it happened, they made a fake coroner's report, plastered it all over the internet, made a fake sheriff's Facebook page, posting as Collin County sheriff, and spread more misinformation.
Who are these? What is this man talking about? He's just a crazy, delusional idiot. Who is doing these things? Definitely, there are racial undertones. Exactly. And look how he look. He ain't nothing but a damn thug himself. Look at him. He look like he's still. I think he looked at both of the twins, walked up on him, but only one of them spoke. Plus the crowd around was probably other athletes, etc. He felt exactly. That part. The racist behavior doesn't work on every person the same. Where one person will ignore your behavior, the next person is willing to lose it all. Stop playing with people. That part. What is this saying that says that we are not our ancestors? You know, and I never even looked at it like that. But it is what it is. Actually, I believe it was both of the twins, but it could have been both of them, but one actually acted. I didn't even think about it like that. That's a good way to think about it. Because like I said before, something happened that made him think he needed to protect himself. Because I'm going to tell y'all this. If that boy Karmelo Anthony would have ended up unalive, they would have came up with some bullcrap story about it. Let's just call it what it is. Who did all of these things, and why did you not report them? This man is just making up shit. And this is partially why, you know, cameras are not allowed. He's just a Delulu creep.
Information and lies. All of it was 100% bullshit. They all made it up the day after it happened. It was a money grab from the beginning. They raised
a money grab? Well, I mean, they're allowed to raise money for their defense, but you know, he is casually leaving out, and this is all over the internet. One of the reasons too why they don't want, you know, cameras in the court. Do y'all know that this family had to move so many times because people were coming to their house dressed as Uber drivers, all kinds of weird stuff. This family has been through hell. Keep in mind, it's the son that caught a case. The mother, the father, and his siblings, they wasn't even there.
Raised over $500,000 from fools that clearly saw a black kid murder a white kid, and they said, hey, we need to support that black kid because fuck the white man, you know, and what the white man did to us hundreds of years ago. That's all it was about. It wasn't about Karmelo was innocent, that he was being bullied, none of that.
He said what the white man did to us hundreds of years ago. Oh, no.
That's all they saw was a racial issue. Isn't it funny how they don't raise money when a black person unalives another black person, which happens all day, every day?
You know, these people are so funny. I mean, white people unalive white people every single day. It is just how it happens, you idiot. He says, when another, y'all stop letting these folks make you think that black people unalive black people. Every race unalive each other. It's the people in which you have the most proximity to. So they make it seem like it's just a black issue. That's a bunch of bullshit. Since the black guy that knocked out that since the black guy that knocked out that racist YouTuber that he left in a vegetative state was found not guilty, I hope for Karmelo. I don't know about that one. You said since the black guy that knocked out the racist YouTuber. I gotta look that up. Notice no one talks about the twin pushing or shoving Karmelo. Teach your kids to keep their exactly. Keep your damn hands to yourself. Because listen, I'm a changed person. And when I was in school, if you had to if you had to push me, I was going to beat you down. Okay. So, I'm different now, but if you would have touched me in school, I would have beat you down. You ain't even have to push me. Do this and I'm going to beat you down. So, hey, these are kids. They learn, a lot of times they change their behaviors, but teach your kids to keep their hands to themselves. This white man sounds like Anton and Myra combined in white face. Ooh, racism definitely still exists. Believe me, I've experienced it. Yes, absolutely. And this guy is just lying and making up shit.
All day, every day. I don't see no give, send, go money for those people. Why are those cases not talked about and rambled on in live?
I guess the same reason why the white cases is not talked about, because y'all kill each other too. It's just how it is. Hello, it's not a black thing. This is just what happens. This is how a lot of white people feel about black and brown people. This a-hole is just bold enough to get on camera and say what a lot of them feel. Yeah, that's true. I agree. Somebody says send the info so we can report. I'm sharing it. Let's see. What is it? It's right here. Big Randy. Big Randy 603. Big Draw Randy 603. And then he even has in his bio, justice for Austin Metcalf. Been banned too many times to count, but I'm trying to do better, y'all. Shut up.
Day after day, because they don't give a fuck. They don't care. But let a white man get involved, all of a sudden Black Lives Matters. All of a sudden, oh yeah, we're gonna make some money off of this deal. It's all manipulation. All right, they're playing on your emotions and your feelings, bringing race into the issue so they can scam you out of money, man. And they play.
It's so they can scam you out of money. The only person that scammed out of money was Austin Metcalf and his family. Now, Karmelo Anthony and his family created a I think it was a give, send, go for attorney's fees, but you couldn't take it, you and your country old people. So you went and created you a give, send, go or GoFundMe. I don't know which one they actually created because they were so caught up with the amount of money that this family got for legal defense that they couldn't take it. So they went and created one for themselves. That's what they do.
Paid y'all for fools, and there y'all are donating money, and you look stupid because the evidence is being described as overwhelming. There was 30 fucking people that saw and heard the entire thing. And the grand jury looked at all the evidence.
So this is how you know he's just another idiot that's uneducated. You can be found not guilty in the grand jury. It takes little, very little, very little for a grand jury to bring back an indictment. So the grand jury don't mean shit, just so y'all know. The grand jury means nothing. T Tropical One. Hi, Lakeysha and chat. What's the gist about this Karmelo Anthony? I'm at work multitasking. Okay, so Karmelo Anthony, I don't know if you remember, but Karmelo Anthony was charged with unaliving someone at I think was it a track meet, another boy. But hold on, I can play the video for you in a second. So what they're doing now is they're going through jury selection because ultimately he pled not guilty. So they're going to have a jury trial. Brown people feel like that about Black people as well. Yeah. Yeah, I don't be around people like that.
A ton that hadn't even been released. And guess what they said? Yep, murder one. Oh, he's fucked. Yeah, they didn't say, well, it was just a fight among boys and it's really a manslaughter case, so we'll go with manslaughter. Nuh-uh. They saw all of Karmelo's data in his cell phone, collected all the other SIM cards and data that all these other kids had, collected 30 plus witness statements, looked at text messages, Google searches, everything, and said, yep, murder one for sure. Evidence of premeditation. He was on a mission. He came here to hurt.
You see how he just lying? So now it done went to premeditation. This dude is a joke. His TikTok name is right there. I've reported him. This is misinformation and he's lying.
Hurt somebody, ended up murdering a kid who was right where he was supposed to be, unarmed.
Yeah, he was right where he's supposed to be, putting his hands on the wrong person. Unfortunately, you must keep your hands to yourself. You cannot go around putting your hands on somebody.
Like a good kid. And what happened? He stuck a knife in his motherfucking chest. Too bad Karmelo can't get the death penalty, or I would write a letter to Collin County and see if they'd sub it out to me, and I'd come pick his ass up my motherfucking self.
Oh yeah, we reporting this. I'm about to report him again. Actually, now that I get to the end of his video, this is more like violence. Yeah, this dude is sick. You see how these people talk? This is not only misinformation, this is violence. Yeah, this is violence.
Yeah. Piece of shit.
Yeah, your good old nasty white folks. Yeah, that was disgusting. Actually, let's get this piece of trash off of the screen. That is what they think. I mean, unfortunately, some I don't even like to call these folks white because they're not even white, pale. They think that they're better than Black people. And if this was turned around, there would not be any type of, I don't believe there will be any type of charges pressed. But because these folks couldn't accept what happened, the fact that he was charged, that don't really mean anything. That doesn't mean that they had overwhelming evidence. I've saw so many trials. If you guys have been paid attention to what is his name? I can't remember. Cardi B's daughter's father, he was charged and they had no evidence. So when these people are charged, that's why I like to just see what they're, saying at trial. It doesn't even mean anything. Let's see what this lady is saying. I just hope that he gets a fair trial. I really hope that he gets a fair trial.
Today begins the jury trial of Karmelo Anthony. And if you don't remember what this case was about, he is alleged to have murdered a young man named Austin Metcalf at a track meet at their school by stabbing him. His defense team is claiming self-defense. Essentially, the facts are, and this is coming from his defense team specifically, that there was an altercation between Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf and some other people, some sort of physical altercation, and in response to that physical altercation, Karmelo Anthony pulled out a knife and stabbed Austin Metcalf. Austin Metcalf subsequently died, and he's being charged with murder. This is a very interesting case. There was a lot of public outrage on both sides. And then there were press conferences, a lot of press conferences held by Karmelo Anthony's family and their spokesperson, who I personally think did not do anything good for the family. I think he actually hurt his case significantly by continually talking to the media, trashing the Metcalf family. There was a situation where Austin Metcalf's father showed up to one of the press conferences.
So again, it's just, listening to this, it just lets you know that racism it's alive and thriving. These people, and I've watched all of the press conferences because they haven't had many. It was actually one. They never said anything about this family. They never said anything about the Metcalf family in terms of disparaging them. They never said anything. Actually, I played the, that news broadcast in another video, but you see how she's on here saying they made the case worse. Well, originally they did one press conference, but obviously now, they haven't did anymore, but that was just the only one. Well, during their conference, and this is why I said you can kind of see where this son may have gotten this behavior from, because the father showed up at their press conference and he had to be escorted out by police. Like, why would you show up there? Why would you show up there? So she's lying, and she's also providing false information because they never said anything disparaging about that family.
And he kicked him out. He's not helping.
She said they kicked him out. Well, the police asked them to leave because it's a little bit weird. Your son was unalive, but then you show up to where Karmelo and his family is. That's just a weird.
And he kicked him out. Situation where Austin Metcalf's father showed up to one of the press conferences and he kicked him out. He's not helping the family in any way, shape, or form. But the jury selection for this trial starts today. There's going to be no cameras allowed in the courtroom, but I believe they're allowing 7 or 8 media sources in to let us know what's going on during the case. So I will keep you updated during the pendency of this case. I've been following it since the beginning. I think it's very interesting. They are going with the self-defense. So we'll see how that pans out. But let me know, based on what you know so far, whether or not you think that this was self-defense.
I think what I'm going to do, guys, because I don't know if you guys had the opportunity to see this. There is a video out there where the family, like she stated, they did do a press conference, but they didn't say anything negative about the other family. Lakeysha, this baby is not going to get a fair trial. His defense team knows this is a racist town and should have asked for it to be moved. Even if they would not grant it, they should. We don't know if they didn't ask. We don't know if they didn't ask. So I don't know if they did or didn't. I know it's extremely hard to get. Father showing up is a form. Exactly. And that's why I said, let me see. I'm going to find it for y'all. Let me find it for y'all. Because when the father showed up to that, it let me kind of understand what type of family they had. Because I'm like, why would he show up like that? Let me find it for you guys so you guys can see it. And they actually had to call the police to have this man removed. And that's exactly what, all right, let me show y'all this because you guys are going to be able to. All right. Let me show you guys this. This was the only press conference that they ever did. So when she says that they spoke very badly about him, that's a damn lie. Like, they never said anything bad. Think about it. If your son or, you know, somebody in your family had did something like this, and then the family of that person showed up, I'm going to think they came for trouble. So the police were notified, which, you know, police come here and find out what's going on because we don't know what's going on. So the police were notified and they showed up and removed him. Now, I'm going to let y'all listen to this because she says that they were talking bad about the family. No, they did not. They never said anything bad about this family.
I want to start off this press conference to say something as a deep note that I can tell America. What we've seen at the beginning of this press conference, the father being at this press conference, these are my words. Don't quote anybody. Is a dish.
Also, Deborah, I see what you put in the chat. The only thing with this is nobody can film. So even if somebody went there, they literally can do nothing but take notes. So nobody can film. So just, you know, that's all they can do.
Disrespect to the dignity of his son. Next Generation Action Network from the beginning has respected the loss of life. No matter our opinion of it, we have kept our opinion close. We have not attacked. We have not shared the information that was shared with us about Austin Metcalf because we respect the dignity of life and loss. And as a minister, I would not attack a grieving family, even if I disagree with them. When I have stood before this podium for people who have died at the hands of law enforcement, I have asked for that same manner of respect. And even when the shoe is on the other foot, I will not do that. And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family, but he did it.
Now, guys, the reason why he's saying he knows that it's inappropriate, I got to pause here because I want to find you guys the video where they actually had to call the police. So what he's saying is he knows it's inappropriate to be here. He didn't say anything about the family. He actually said, I respect the loss of life. He said that. But you know, if it's a situation where somebody in your family unalived somebody, why are you over there? That's weird. And it's very inappropriate for everybody involved because it's weird and it's very inappropriate. So I'm going to play this while I look for the other video.
So I say to people, actions speak louder than words. Okay? What he has failed into is the political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism. We have conservative operatives that have been posting nonstop about this case. It is outright disrespectful. We haven't been doing it. The Next Generation Action Network has been here, popular and unpopular. So regardless of what's going on, That was disrespectful. Disrespectful. And I will leave it to y'all to define it. But of course, we want to. Y'all, I'm Minister Dominique Alexander. I serve as the president of the.
Okay, guys, I want to stop it here because what I want to do is I want to show you guys the video where the father showed up. Like, you showed up here, sir, and you were what he was trying to do is bully this family. Like, why would you do that? You showed up to bully this family, and it kind of showed exactly who you are as a father. Okay, so we're going to get into that because I want you guys to see, where this guy showed up to their press conference and had to be removed. And that wasn't them being nasty or mean. You shouldn't be showing up to something like that. That just doesn't make any sense.
The murder case that has so many people watching right now. A teen stabbed in the chest at a high school track meet. For the first time since the stabbing happened and the arrest, we heard from the family of the teen charged with murder and out of jail right now on bond.
Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to. He's been raised in a two-parent home with structure, stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do.
An emotional statement there from the mom of the suspect, Lauren Crawford, joining us live right now from that press conference. Lauren, the father of the victim also showed up to hear them speak. Tell us more about that.
Hi, good morning, Carmen. That's right. And it was a tense situation. The father of Austin Metcalf showed up to that press conference and then was escorted out by police. So let's remind everyone how this all got started. Police say 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony stabbed 17-year-old Austin Metcalf during a track meet earlier this month. Metcalf died at the track meet, and witnesses told police it happened after an argument between the two, and Anthony claims it was self-defense. That brings us to the press conference. Jeff Metcalf was seen wearing sunglasses and talking on his phone at times while waiting for the family of Karmelo Anthony to speak. Dallas police showed up and Metcalf was asked to leave. Officers told him that he would be charged with trespassing if he did not leave. He told CBS News Texas he thought it would be an opportunity for the two families to come together in a productive way. Here's Karmelo's mother once the press conference resumed.
In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Karmelo and the Metcalf boys, my three younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to.
Now, Anthony's family says that they have not used the money raised for his defense to buy an $800,000 home, an Escalade, hire a private security, and any GoFundMe in their son's name was fraudulent. So
basically, these TikTokers and these lying racists are spreading lies. They had said, I think they had raised, I don't remember the exact amount of I think they had a Give Send Go. I think that's the name of it. They said that they used the money to buy an $800,000 home. They bought an Escalade, and all of these things were just lies. And it's just like, just stop it already. So, as I had played that video of that other YouTuber just lying and making shit up, it's like, you all cannot accept that a Black person unalived a white person. You all can't accept it. We don't, I know I'm not really looking at it like that. I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of, I hope he gets a fair trial. But see, white folk don't like when it's done to them. But as long as it's done to us, it's okay. But then when it's done to them, they can't take it. They put all this false information out, harassing these people. These people have had to move multiple times. So a bunch of lies are being spread it online. I just wanted to show you guys the video where the father showed up. Now, somebody put in the chat, I would have showed up too, and I'm Black. So what is a better way to put this? From this particular case, I think a lot of us believe that Karmelo was being bullied, or there was an attempt to bully him. And I feel like he felt that, I'm not saying that what he did was correct, but I'm not him, he's not me. So he at some point felt like his life was being threatened, and he did whatever it was he thought that he needed to do. So I was simply saying, when you look at his father and his behavior, that is the same behavior that that son felt like he needed to protect himself against. Because I don't know what coming to this particular event is going to do. It's not going to solve anything. And then his father is a liar, because to say you showed up because you thought this will be the opportunity for the families to come together. Sir, they have a whole trial that they're going through now. This wouldn't be the time for anybody to come together, because for one, your son is gone and y'all trying to put mine in prison. So yeah, we probably ain't gonna come together, but it's okay. It is what it is. You said, notice the mom said the Metcalf boys, not Austin, not AUST. Yes, exactly. Notice the mom said the Metcalf boys. Exactly. And somebody else put it in the chat, and I didn't think about it like this. It was 2 against 1. Now, the one boy, I don't believe I've heard anything that they had jumped him, but I believe in his mind, he thought that he needed to do what he needed to do. Because if I was in a situation where 2 people approach me and one person put their hands on me, in my mind, I think at some point, both of y'all gonna try to put y'all hands on me. So that's why I'm saying what somebody else may do, you may react different. But I believe the way he reacted was what he felt. And I believe that they both tried to attack him. And maybe just, it ended with that one. And that's right, what you said. Notice the mom said the Metcalf boys. Exactly. Shows they want to dominate people. Father went there to make the family acknowledge him, and the twin went up to Karmelo to make him acknowledge him also. Exactly. And what these folks need to understand is, and I keep saying this, we ain't our ancestors. Y'all better leave people the hell alone. You better leave people the hell alone. Hey, Danielle. Dad was being intrusive and passive aggressive showing up. Yes. And listen, they don't know if you came near to see if they were there, to send somebody up there to do something to them. We don't know why you're here, sir. Why are you here? This is not the environment. Maybe, some years down the line, something else would change, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. You said, why isn't the NAACP or Democrat Party speaking on these actions made by the dad? Well, they are working with I can't remember the organization, but they are working with the organization. I think it's Next. I can't think of the name of it. Let me see if I can look at it on my phone. I saw a post by them today because I do follow them. I just cannot remember the name of it. Let's see if I can find it. I think it's like the Next Action or something. I don't remember, but they are being represented for represented by some organization. I just can't remember the name of it. I just can't remember. Yeah, they are, like I said, they are being, I just cannot remember the name of it. Right, it was 2 versus 1. Karmelo put up and it made it an even match by making it 2 versus 2. Exactly. Yeah, the brother was there too. And after whatever happens to his brother, obviously, But then we don't even know what happened after, we don't really know. I mean, because obviously, this is the trial. We'll find out, at the trial, but it's more to the story. I don't believe that, he did that with the thought that he didn't think something was going to happen to him or could have happened to him. Yes, that's correct, Deborah. The family had to move from their home because of threats, and it's just shameful and racist. Well, this is a thing, Deborah, from what I just have known, and this is from following, they have organizations that's representing them. I just can't think of the name, but I used to follow them, and I think I still do. I just can't remember the name, but they had moved several times. So it wasn't just one time, it was several times. Then they were having a problem even getting a home, because then it has spread to my understanding, I'm gonna say allegedly, the landlords had started to discriminate. And I believe this is why, in this video that I'm gonna show you guys again, the mother, she was saying that they were being discriminated against. So this family has been through hell.
The couple said that they have just been able to apply for access to funds raised for them on Give, Send, Go. That's where all the money that was raised was going to. It kind of acts like a GoFundMe account. But this stabbing case has really drawn nationwide attention. We have online fundraisers for both families, Metcalf and Anthony, that have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. But police are working with each family to make sure that safety is a top priority as this case and soon-to-be trial continue. Live in Dallas this morning, Lauren Crawford, CBS News, Texas.
Now, guys, I want to show you. So in the video that I had started off showing you all, when, this guy right here, I'm going to rewind this, because this guy right here, he's going to say the name of the organization. I just don't remember it, but there is an organization. Let me see if they put it down here. But there is an organization. They don't mention it here. So I'm gonna replay this. But in this video, this guy is going to say the name of the organization. That is the organization that's kind of representing them. But when he speaks to that was totally inappropriate, he's technically speaking to the father showing up.
Of his son. I want to start off this press conference to say something as a deep note that I can tell America. What we've seen at the beginning of this press conference, the father being at this press conference, these are my words, don't quote anybody, is a disrespect to the dignity of his son. Next Generation Action Network from the beginning has respected the loss of life. No matter our opinion of it, we have kept.
Okay, guys, I gotta rewind it. It's the next something. I gotta rewind it. He just said the name of it. I can't think of it. He said it too fast.
The loss of life, dignity of his son. Next Generation Action Network from the
Next Generation Action Network. That's the name of it. So they're working with the Next Generation Action Network.
Beginning has respected the loss of life. No matter our opinion of it, we have kept our opinion close. We have not attacked. We have not shared the information that was shared with us about Austin Metcalf, because we respect the dignity of life and loss. And as a minister, I would not attack a grieving family, even if I disagree with them. When I have stood before this podium for people who have died at the hands of law enforcement, I have asked for that same manner of respect. And even when the shoe is on the other foot, I will not do that. And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character. Who was not invited, he knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family, but he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words, okay? What he has failed into is the political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism. We have conservative operatives that have been posting nonstop about this case. It is outright disrespectful. We haven't been doing it. The Next Generation Action Network has been here, popular and unpopular. So regardless of what's going on, that was disrespectful. Disrespectful. And I will leave it to y'all to define it. But of course we want to. Y'all, I'm Minister Dominique Alexander. I serve as the president of the Next Generation Action Network. Today I come before you with a heavy heart, but determined in spirit, not just as an advocate, but as a Black man, as a father, as a protector, in community, and children. There are 4 critical points I must address today, and I want to make sure that the public and the media and everyone who believes in truth and justice. First, the misinformation about the fund. From the very beginning, there was an intentional disinformation surrounding the fund created in the support of the Anthony family. The Karmelo Anthony Fund, hosted by Give, Send, Go, let's be clear. The family has not received one dime. Any of the media could have verified this, but we saw on Twitter, we saw on Facebook, and so many different things of the false, lavish life of this family. $800,000 home, purchase Escalade, and private security. Let me make this very clear. The Next Generation Action Network has always had its security detail. Many of you that know us in the Dallas and Fort Worth media know that we have our own security detail. One of the individuals that escorted Karmelo Anthony out of jail is here present with us now. They are a part of the Next Generation Action Network security team. The family hasn't hired any private contractors or whatever, or splurged or whatever. But if they have the audacity to spend money for their safety and security, that's their prerogative. The family has not withdrawn, and just until recently, just yesterday, they were officially notified by Give, Send, Go that they could start the withdrawal process. But if anybody know about this process, they know that.
I just want to answer a question in the chat, but it is what it is. Where are the Black news personalities like Roland Martin, Ricky Smiley, The Breakfast Club? I don't know. Good question. I have no idea, but I knew that I was going to get on here and talk about it. I have no idea where those people are. You know, this is YouTube. These folks can do whatever they want to do, but I said I was going to jump on here. I'm going to jump on here every day in the morning and talk about it for at least 2 hours. You know, so what I think is going to happen is we're not going to get information until today. So we're going to talk about it tomorrow because, you know, I failed to realize that there is no information. Now, I know you guys had mentioned that some people had went to trial. as they stated, they can't come out and tell y'all nothing. So I would assume that they will come out and say what has happened later on today. But also what we'll find out is the news media that were inside of the courtroom will actually, they'll post exactly what happened. So good question. I don't know. And, let's just talk about it. A lot of times, this is a sad thing to say, but it's a real thing. A lot of times Black people don't support each other like they should. When we see white people do this bullshit to Black people, they can get so many donations and all this type of money simply because they did something to a Black person. Let's just call it what it is. But Black people don't get the support that they need, that they should get. And essentially because not only do Black people have to fight racism, they got to fight each other because we got people that look like us, like Anton and some of these other dumbass YouTubers. Y'all know how it is. All skin folk and kinfolk.
That takes about 2 to 3 days to withdraw from that and actually hit any account. But this blatant propaganda wasn't just about the fund. It was to discourage the public from giving to the fund. That's what this was about. Because just like TMZ was able to call, give, send, go, everybody in the media, in these news outlets that I've never heard before could have did the same thing. When I first called Give, Send, Go, they gave me every information that I needed. Okay? So that's what I'm going to say on regards to that. Let me make this very clear. This family never authorized a single fund on the GoFundMe platform. All of the funds that were raised on the GoFundMe were all fraud. Yeah, I got you. All of the funds that was raised on that platform were fraud, okay? The family was the first to report these funds. One of the funds we identified raised up to $11,000. So a post about anything that stated that GoFundMe took everything down regarding Karmelo Anthony, that was at the request of the families and their supporters. This family never tried to create an account on GoFundMe. The Next Generation Action Network is very well aware of the company's policy regarding raising funds for legal defense, okay? Since this tragedy unfolded, the Anthony family has been subject to unimaginable amount of hate, racism, threats to their safety. People have sat outside their house, sent objects delivered to their door, publicly harassed, online and in person. This is not just about Karmelo. It's about the family who dared to stand and demand justice and in return and receive.
I want to bring up something really quickly because he started to talk, he talked about the Give, Send, Go and the GoFundMe. So I want to direct y'all attention to those numbers, okay? So the family did create it's called a Give, Send, Go, okay? So if we were to look at it right now, they raised roughly $612,481. They were looking to raise 1.3, almost 1.4 million. And I would imagine they're using this for his attorney fees. I mean, he got to get a good attorney. You're not going to have a fair trial if he doesn't get a good attorney. So his fund was raised on Give, Send, Go, which you guys are looking at now. Now, there were, some different GoFundMes, as he said, that was fraud. Now, remember in the beginning or, somewhere in the mid of this video, I told you guys that while, these guys were doing these videos basically talking about the Karmelo Anthony raising money, look at what they did. What are they raising money for? They raised almost $600,000 for what? To honor Austin Metcalf and to help his family heal. So money makes you heal. So again, I can understand why the Karmelo family is, raised the GoFundMe because they needed for legal fees. But why are they raising money? Raising money to help them heal. So you're using your son to get money because you don't like feeling that, your son is not here, but this other family is raising money. They're not raising money for themselves. The money that they're raising is solely for legal purposes. But you see how evil these people are? So you create a GoFundMe and say, honoring Austin Metcalf, help his family heal. What? What does this even mean? Oh, Deborah said, I watched Roland Martin, Don Lemon, Joy Reid, Willie D, and they have covered this case from day one. Okay. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out because, they made it seem like the Karmelo family was scamming. And the scammers are on the screen. Like, what are you raising money for? Like, to help you heal? Money doesn't help you heal.
That racism in this country still breeds. But let me say this loud and clear. We are not scared. We are not moving. We will not be silent. What I've always said as the president of the Next Generation Action Network, we will never ask the oppressor for permission to liberate our people. We will not ask for permission to stand up for the rights of our children. The Next Generation Action Network has stood on both sides of the fence in ensuring that justice is served. Now, getting to the information that the Next Generation Action Network wanted to share with the public today. And I will go ahead and pass it over to the mother and once I make this statement, okay? All right. There's two more final. For the last week and a half, the Next Generation Action Network has engaged in communications with Frisco ISD to ensure that Karmelo Anthony's due process is not violated. We know that in the state of Texas, there are things that are discretionary things and decisions by the leadership of Frisco ISD, right? There are clear guidance in the state and education code regarding expulsion of a student. We have asked several times. We didn't just rush. We have had these conversations over the last several days. And we have stated that it is just outright wrong to get involved in this. Karmelo Anthony doesn't have to walk. He doesn't have to involve in any senior activities. But Karmelo Anthony is a 3.7 GPA student. And if he doesn't even go to class for the remainder of the year, he would graduate, okay? We've asked that Frisco do not make a decision in this situation. But Frisco ISD has notified of their intent to expel Karmelo Anthony from school 1 month before his high school graduation. That just shows me that Frisco ISD is trying to push off the blame. And what I have not heard the media say, as many media outlets have asked us what went on, I'm trying to find how many of y'all have asked the superintendent or one single board of trustee, why didn't you cancel or postpone? With weather in that magnitude, you couldn't have a track meet in rain or thunderstorm or clouds. Y'all are the media. Ask your journalists, your weather journalists, how the weather was that day and that time. Y'all do that research. Because as a person who is the administrator of your children, you are responsible for the safety of the children. And so it seems as if Frisco ISD is trying to push this off by making this decision that they do not have to make. So the Next Generation Action Network, outside of the legal process, will be going through different avenues regarding to ensure that we fight for the rights of Karmelo Anthony, okay? So in the next coming days, we will be announcing to the public, we will do direct action outside of Frisco ISD administration office because this is outright wrong. You are getting involved in a process that even the legal process has asked us to respect. And we're asking you to do that same thing. You do not have to get involved in this situation. But it seems that even with us going and meeting or having conversations, they have made their mind up. And we want to make sure that the records, that we talk truth to power in regards. I wanted to lay this out to ensure, because of the sensitivity of this case, there are so many moving factors that I have to explain so that this family does not have to explain. Let me say this about the 4th, and let me repeat this so that you guys can go to the Frisco Police Department. The reason why the family or me or anybody with direct knowledge of this cannot talk about the particulars of what happened in that tent, I know you know this is all law, is because if anybody tell you there was an adult near or inside or whatever, this current investigation knows nothing about that. Everybody involved at this point of our knowledge are minors. In the state of Texas, you know we cannot release or talk about minors. So stop asking us the question. Stop. It's no. We can't even do it if we wanted to. Okay? We can't talk about it. So don't ask. There is a court of law that will express everything, will lay out everything. We can't talk about it if we wanted to. Okay? So make it clear. Go back, confirm with Frisco Police Department. Go back, confirm with the district attorney. Even in the bond hearing, you didn't see a single thing said about people that was indirect. They're minors. Okay? So stop. The social media, stop. I haven't saw not one person single-handedly get this right in the public. They're minors, y'all. Just stop. We can't. Don't send another inquiry to NGAN inbox, do this, all of that. That's the reason why we felt like it was important to do this press conference today. We can't talk about it. So if you ask me, I'm just going to look at you, okay? So I'm telling the world, everybody know the state law. I'm not creating it. We can't talk about it. This family can't talk about it. I can't talk about it. Nobody, unless you want to be sued. You release one of those 16-year-olds or 15-year-olds and 17-year-olds name, the law of this land tells you what was going to happen to you, okay? So don't ask that question. Finally, in regards to this judge, I do not know Judge Angela Tucker. I've never met her, never known her, never been nowhere near her court. Don't know anything about her until we were notified that she was going to hear the writ. But the ugly attacks on her just shows Black America that no matter what you pick in the ballot box, and that is your constitutional right, it's people out here reminding us of the Black struggle in America. This woman is a registered Republican, has been for years. She put herself through school, she raised her family, she did everything. I'm a registered Democrat, proud. I'm the chair of the Dallas County Democrat Resolutions Committee. I don't know that woman. And to call her leftist is just downright disrespectful. The bond that was given is according to law and consistency with practice. If Aaron Dean can get a $300,000 bond when he killed a Tatiana Jefferson, Karmelo Anthony can get a $250,000. If Amber Geiger can get a $200,000 bond when she kills Botham Judge in his own home.
So guys, he's describing how it looks like when the white people do it. Now, if you guys remember I think it's Amber Geiger, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Now, this woman was a police officer. She came home to his apartment with his name is, I think is Botham. I can't remember his name, but anyway, he's a Black guy. They lived in the same apartment building. How in the hell do you walk into somebody else's apartment and think it's yours? I have no idea, because it's not even about the layout of the apartment. Don't you have your own furnishings? You know, how you have styled your apartment. I don't know how she walked all the way in and unalived somebody. And her defense was she thought he had broke into her apartment. Yet she walked into his apartment. So he was never in her apartment. Okay. She went to prison, but she got a light sentence, but she ultimately was able to be out on the street. So this is what he's describing. Now, what is her name? I think it's Tatiana Jefferson, who was in her bed, minding her own business, a similar situation where the police came in, unalived her for no reason. This police officer was never convicted. So what he's doing is saying, listen, if these people can get bond, you know, allow this to play out in the courtroom.
He can get a $250,000. If Roy Oliver can get a $250,000 bond after he kills Jordan Edwards, all white officers, why couldn't Karmelo Anthony be entitled? A child with no background, no criminal background, no endangerment to the community, none whatsoever, be placed on a ELM and brought home. Please help me understand. Make this make sense. It's consistency. It's consistent with practice. After this, y'all, so that we'll know, this will be our final press conference until this trial. We will not speak to the media again after this, okay? Don't ask for comment, question, or whatever it is. The actions that the Next Generation Action Network take on Frisco ISD will be separate from the legal process, because we want to make sure that Karmelo Anthony's due process. This is going to be a jury case. And then let me make this very clear. This is a case that has not even been indicted. So, under the guise of Texas law, it's not even really proceeding to a trial yet, because it has not even went through a grand jury to be indicted. We know We don't know if a grand jury will indict or not. We don't know. That's in the district attorney's hands, okay? And their legal team is preparing a packet for those things, and we will not be talking about the legal process regarding this case, okay? So after today, I just want the media to know, and I want the public to know, I don't care what you say about me. I've been in this thing for 11 years. I am tried, tested, and proven. I'm gonna just say, I'm from Oak Cliff. Worser things have been said about me, baby. You ain't gotta inbox to me, you ain't gotta tell me. I am the first person to tell my testimony. I don't have to prove anything to nobody. I am a proven testimony standing here that God, even when you make mistakes, God is not finished with your story. I'm gonna bring this mother, Kayla Hayes, and it has taken her a lot of strength, y'all, to come and do this today. And I want you guys to respect her as she read this and giving her the respect that she deserves, y'all.
Good afternoon. My name is Kayla Hayes. I am the mother of Karmelo Anthony. 3 years ago, my family moved to North Texas searching for a better life. Like so many other families, we wanted to give our children the future we did not have. My husband works hard every single day to provide for us, to make sure we're in the best financial position possible. As a stay-at-home mom, I made it my life's mission to ensure our children are loved, nurtured, and supported every step of the way. In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Karmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff. Our address and my husband's previous employer's address has been put on all social media platforms. My husband had to take a leave of absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family. His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her. And let me be clear, the claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime from the Give, Send, Go fundraiser. And the co-founder has stated that clearly. In the reality, we were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds. And it still takes several days to receive those funds once a request is made. I don't know why we are being targeted and discriminated against before a fair trial. Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to. He's been raised in a 2-parent home with structure, stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do. We believe in the Constitution. We believe in the laws of this state. but those laws must apply to all of us, not just some of us. To be clear, when I speak publicly about specific details of what happened under the tent on that rainy and awful day, there's an active investigation that everyone involved wants to be full and fair. We believe in the legal process, and that is where the truth will come out. To the family who experienced the loss, my heart truly goes out to you. To those who have supported my family, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We ask for your continued support, patience, and prayers as we navigate this difficult process. Thank you.
You can tell this family is going through. This is very sad.
Y'all, I'm going to show something up of a post. You come for me, I come for you. Sarah Fields. Never heard of this woman. This is the kind of despicable things that led to the father being here. Political operatives motivating this family with hate. Karmelo Anthony posted on something that shows, posted here. These are the type of lies that are threatening this family. Posting the family's picture. These are the type of lies. She's getting millions of views on this. Sarah, she's even came after me. She's even said all of those things. And now that the public knows exactly what is going on, I ask, because these racist bigots try to prevent us from standing up for our baby, our boy, he should be afforded the same rights that Kyle Rittenhouse had, Daniel Penna, and all of the people who have claimed whatever their defense was. He should be afforded the same right. Nobody in the public media has one video camera, but we got the video of Kyle Rittenhouse with an AK-47 shooting 3 people in the back. We got that. And he raised more than $2 million publicly, and nobody says anything. So since they tried to come for us.
And see, this is what I said in the opening of my video. We talked about the Kyle Rittenhouse. This boy was 17 years old, left his tail from his place of residence, Illinois, and traveled an hour or more for drama, got there with a rifle and unalived 2 people and injured another. He's free.
I call for the community's overwhelming support for this fund. The disinformation that was put out was literally deliberate to prevent you from helping this family. And I want you to give overwhelming support to show them the community united can never be divided. And I'm going to say this again, and this is for everybody. Black people in America, while the current occupant sits at 1600 Pennsylvania, Black people in America don't have to pull the race card. It's what we live as a reality every day. It's what we have to teach our children. We don't want to, but we have to. We don't like to, but if we want to sleep at night, we got to. I ain't pulling no race card. I live it. I'm reminded all the time that I'm a Black man in America. And what y'all just showed.
And that's what somebody put in the chat. You know, it don't matter. You can be MAGA, whoever you are, whoever you want to be. But at the end of the day, they see your is Black. Okay. So You can't run from it. Love who you are and F these people, okay?
To Judge Tucker is just reminded that hate and bigotry and racial reconciliation in this country, we have respected the process. I believe that Austin.
And you know what, Deborah, that's all that I've been saying. You know, I really hate that this happened to their family, but he deserves a fair trial. If he was white, he would be getting a fair trial. These people are evil and they're nasty and they're racist. Y'all done harass these folks to the point that somebody put in a chat that they left Texas. I don't know, maybe they did, but you didn't harass, you know, the white Kyle Rittenhouse who went and just unalived 2 people, left his state, got a rifle, and went and unalived some people. And they let that boy, found him not guilty. Why are we having this conversation? In 2026, we still, well, of course, we still dealing with racism. We got a whole racist president in the White House.
Metcalf is about to have his funeral. And I wouldn't dare, even with the information I know, and plenty people can share that and all that, but we have prevented from speaking about that in these type of public forums. It will come out. They have a more than well-capable attorney, and this family will go through a process of being able to get prepared for this trial. So I just say this real quick. This is our final time speaking to public and holding a press conference regarding this particular case. Now, the Next Generation Action Network will talk about Frisco ISD, but we will not do this. I will not ask this mother to do this again. The attorney will not. We won't do this again. Don't ask.
So again, this was the only press conference that they ever did. Again, you know, I had showed you guys some videos where, you know, a YouTuber or maybe a TikToker was saying that they had did all these press conferences. That's a lie. This was the one and done. And as he's saying in this video that they won't do it again, and they have not did it again. This was the only press conference ever that they did. So y'all, we're going to close here. I'll see you guys back again tomorrow. I'm going to start at like 10:30 or 10:30, either 10:30 or 10:45, because we are an hour. So I'm an hour ahead of Texas. So 10:30 for me is about 9:30 for them. And I think they start at closer to 9 o'clock. So that gives me, you know, time to get some information. By this being the first day, we really didn't have much. But I assume once they wrap this evening, then we'll have that information for tomorrow. But make sure you guys join. Make sure you hype up the video. If you guys have not hit the like button, I would appreciate it if you go ahead and hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already subscribed. And I'll see y'all at 4 o'clock p.m.
Clear, real talk, lives right here.
Stretch words like
Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeyshakeysha, say it clear. Real talk, lives right here. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but
stretch words like
No fear, they talk loud, but I'm